Okay, we're on the record. Welcome everybody, and thanks for joining us for a very first Surrey Heath eSurgery. Now, this is really a live brainstorm. It's not meant to be a proper eSurgery as such, because what I want to try and do is it's an idea that I had a few days ago, and my colleagues here from Surrey Heath Borough Council agreed to come on this. As far as I'm aware, we're the first politicians in the world to have ever done this, and so it's a brand new concept, and we're going to kind of make it up as we go along, really. But what I wanted to do was, first of all, for the benefit of the viewers and the politicians that we have here that are taking part in this, I just wanted to explain the platform a little bit, because actually this is the very first time that Josephine has ever been on Blab. It's the same for Oliver, and I think it's the same for you as well, isn't it, Dave?
I've been on one before, that's all.
Oh, you've been on one before, right. Okay. We've also got Councillor Dan Adams in the sidelines, because one of the limitations of this platform is there's only 4 seats. So what I want to do is just explain, for the benefit of you and the audience, the screen layout. But before I do that, I'm just going to introduce each one of you. So we've got Councillor David Allen, who represents Frimley Ward. Dave is also the chairman of, let me get this right, Dave.
Performance and Finance Scrutiny. Performance
and Finance Scrutiny Committee. We've also got Oliver Lewis, who is the councillor for Frimley Green Ward, or one of the councillors for Frimley Green Ward. So, and Oliver is a newly elected councillor. He was only elected for the first time in May. And it's nice, actually, to have some young blood in the council, Oliver, if you don't mind me saying. Yeah. And your ward colleague, Max, is also a young fella. Yeah. So it's really nice to have some young minds in the council for a change, to be honest with you, because I was one of the youngest councillors at 45, which says a lot, really. So before you and Max came on the scene. So it's really, really good. And we've also got Councillor Josephine Hawkins. Josephine is the ward member for Parkside, along with her husband, Edward Hawkins. And Josephine is an executive member of the council. And what's your portfolio, Corporate. Josephine? Corporate. Can you just quickly, in 2 seconds, explain what that is, what that covers?
Corporate covers quite a lot of things, really. It covers the contact centre, HR, equalities, children's champion, children's safeguarding, a whole host of things, really. And I'm not...
So it's quite a wide area, and you're newly appointed to the executive, yes, aren't you, Josephine?
Yes, since this term, since May. So, and it's really, I find it really exciting, actually.
Cool. Now, we've also got in the sidelines Councillor Dan Adams, who represents St Paul's Ward. He can't say hello because we've only got 4 seats, but I will bring him in shortly.
Do you want to give him my seat?
Dan Adams. No, it's okay. It's okay. He's all right.
Swap him in.
Yeah, as it so happens, Dan is exceptionally jet lagged. He's just got back from America and he's absolutely knackered. So he's only going to come in and say hello in a bit when I explain the hot seat concept. So it's fine. But Dan is also the vice chairman of External Partnerships Select Committee. And I'll just introduce myself for those who don't know me. I'm Councillor Paul Deach. I represent Mitchett and Deepcut, and I'm the chairman of the External Partnerships Select Committee, which I took over from Josephine. I was her vice chairman before she got appointed to the executive. So, and I've got to say, Josephine, I'm absolutely loving it, and I know Dan is as well. So it's really, really good, really good. You are definitely a tough act to follow. So let's get on with this and explain what this is all about. And it's nice to see we've got a nice little audience now, 10 people, and I recognise some names there in the audience. We've got Claire Funnell. I know Claire lives on the Heatherside ward. And there's a couple of other names there that are recognised as well. So thanks for joining us. And I think that people will actually, more people will join as we go on. By the way, could I just ask everybody in the audience to click that button that says "Tell a Little Bird," because that will mean that we'll get more people. And if also the participants can do exactly the same, that would be really good. Right. So let me go through a couple of things. And this is for the benefit of you, the councillors, and the audience, just so that for those who are new to the platform. All right. So the screen layout, as you can see on the right, so you've got in the centre, you've got the 4 tiles, and they represent the seats. Okay. I'm moderating this lab, which means that I can boot people out and let them back in again. It would be useful, actually, which I'll talk about in a little bit later on, is to have a co-host for this so that they can read the comments, because like all men, I find it difficult to multitask. So to run this and to read the comments at the same time could be
Josephine then.
Maybe Josephine, or even Dan, who actually understands the platform. But it won't be on this time. It's when we do it proper. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So on the right-hand side, you've got the comments, and in there you can, if somebody types something in there. I know you're watching this, Claire Funnel. Just say hi. Type hi in the comments there, and we'll see that. Hopefully, she'll do it if she's watching. I'll tell you what, I'll type it in. Oh, she's done it. Hi, but it's actually Barry. Oh, it's her husband, Barry. Okay. I thought you were only Claire at the weekends, Barry. It's Claire's husband, Barry. Excellent. So the idea is some weekdays, he says. So the idea is that people who are watching can ask questions as we're doing this. All right. Which will be very useful. And I'm hoping that whoever is the wingman when I do these will actually keep an eye on those so that they can read them out. The other thing is that I'm going to try and encourage people to tweet questions in advance, or email me questions, or put them on Facebook, whatever, and we'll read them out. See that happening too. So we've talked about the comments. So Tell a Little Bird we've already done. Moderation control. Now, one of the limitations of this platform is that there isn't actually a lot of moderation control, and they've done that on purpose. They want it to be as free as possible, and I think that on this concept, actually, that's a good idea. The end of the day, we want residents to ask us whatever they want. We don't want to moderate them or block them just because they ask a difficult question. However, that said, normal rules of decency apply. So as far as I'm concerned, you can ask whatever you want. It's not what you ask, it's how you ask it.
Hey, Paul, just one question.
Yeah.
What if people aren't asking a question, but they're preaching a preach?
Ranting, yeah. You mean? Yeah, well, I've already thought of that, and I'm not going to allow that, to be honest with you, because this is an eSurgery for the benefit of all local
exactly.
residents.
So can you cut people off if they...
yes.
You can. Okay, thank you. That's all we need. I mean, this has got to be constructive. Yeah. We want it to be forward-thinking, going forward, informing. But if somebody, has a bugbear up their butt, this isn't the place to do it.
No, it's not. This is to answer questions for residents who have issues, or so that we can signpost them if they have a problem that even if we can't deal with it, we can signpost them and that type of thing, which is what a real surgery would be about.
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly. But yeah, I do have the ability to block them and delete them, although I would be very reluctant to do that, Dave.
Yeah. No.
We've got to understand that some people get very frustrated with certain issues, and we just got to let them vent a little bit. But what I won't allow is people to be personal or impolite and all that type of thing. All right. We've got Chris Kelly joining us. I know that Chris is a local resident, so thanks for joining us, Chris. Right, so that's moderation control. The hot seat concept. Right, so we've got 4 seats here, and I'm going to demonstrate this now, okay? And I'm going to boot you out, Dave. Okay. And let Dan Adams in, Councillor Dan Adams, all right? And so because we've only got 4 seats, it means we can only have 4 of us in at one time. But the idea will be, as more councillors sort of not sign up to this, but sort of buy into it and think it's a good idea, may want to participate, Obviously, we can't force them to do that, but hopefully they will see the benefit of it and join us. And the idea is that they'll wait in the sidelines, okay? And if someone asks a question that's relevant, then we can bring them in. What do you think to that?
I couldn't hear what
Good idea.
You broke up slightly.
Yeah, Paul,
I'll
you were
explain that.
breaking up, actually, not anybody else.
Me.
You're right. Okay. Well, that again, that's broadband for you, and that's just one of the limitations. But don't worry about that too much. What I was saying, Josephine, is that my idea for the future is that as more councillors want to take part in this, we will they'll wait in the sidelines, and then when a question is asked by a resident that's relevant to them, then we'll drop one of you out and let them in.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And I'm going to demonstrate how that works now. So I'm going to drop Dave Allen out, okay, and we're going to ask Dan Adams to come in. Okay, here he comes.
Evening all.
Hello, Dan. So this is Councillor Dan Adams, and Dan, as I said earlier, represents St Paul's Ward, another newly elected councillor. So that's how that concept would work. So we've got councillors waiting in the sidelines. Dave Allen's waiting in the sidelines now and watching this. He can also ask questions. So Dave, if you want to type say a hi in the comments there so people can see that. Unfortunately, with the recording afterwards, you don't see the comments. If it's a YouTube recording, if you watch it natively on the platform, on Blab, the recording, then you can see the comments. Okay, but like I said earlier, you've got to be registered on Twitter for that to happen.
I see
All
someone
right,
saying
I've got a
that
comment there
on
from.
iPad.
Sorry, say that again. Say again, Josephine.
One of the comments has just come up. Doesn't work on an iPad.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't work on it. Blab haven't created an iPad native app yet, but they will. It does work on iPhone, though. It does work on iPhone. So, yeah, really, actually, the best way to watch this is on a desktop, to be fair.
I don't know if you've got poor internet or I've got poor internet, but I've only got you on audio. Everyone else have got visual.
Yeah,
I can see.
Is that you?
Yeah, no. What's doing is it's recognizing that you do have poor internet, and it's compensating automatically. So it's
right. Oh well, there's Virgin Media for
because video is quite bandwidth intensive, so it's working out. You see that, and it's compensating. I've got another question there. Okay, Paul, I had to join Twitter. Peter Ludlow. Hi, Peter. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate that. He was reluctant to join Twitter, but he's obviously seen how compelling this is and decided to do it.
They all come around eventually.
Eventually, that's right. So that's the hot seat concept. Okay.
Do you want to take me out for a minute and I'll move, see if I can pick up the internet better?
Well, another thing you can do, Josephine, is actually refresh your browser. So if you refresh your browser, do you know how to do that? Yeah. So you'll go out and then you'll come back in again.
I'll go out and come back in.
Yeah,
again.
so look at this. We've got Councillor Edward Hawkins there saying hello.
Yeah.
Come and say hello, Edward.
Hello.
For those watching this live, Councillor Hawkins, Edward Hawkins, is also represents Parkside Ward and is the chairman of the Planning Applications Committee, and he does a very good job of that too. Keeps us all in line.
Don't look like that, Oliver.
Excellent. So, okay, we've actually got, and something that I wanted to cover on this is that one thing I can't control is who watches it. We can literally have a worldwide audience. And in fact, there's somebody who's just joined us who I know for a fact is in America because I've chatted to this guy before.
Oh, is that Dave from Chicago?
Yes. Yeah. So, which is really cool. And he's just said hello. Okay, so that's the hot seat. Dave, do you? Sorry, Dan, do you want to jump back out and let Dave back in again? Okay, thanks for that. So let's let Dave back in. Here he comes.
2 hands in the bottom corner of everyone's. Right.
Okay, they're called props. So if I say something that people like who are watching it, they can give me props.
Yeah,
it's a bit like a like. Yeah. And you're getting lots of them right now, Oliver. So you clearly are very popular.
There you go. Just like that.
Yes.
Hey,
so our viewers can
this
give us
works.
thoughts.
Okay.
This works just fine on an iPad. I'm on an iPad right now.
Yeah, but you're actually using Dave on. I'm not going to let you in just yet. I will let you in when we do the Q&A in a little bit, if that's okay. One of the viewers wants to jump in, and I'm just denying him access at the moment. We've lost Josephine. If you can see this, Josephine, you just need to reboot or refresh rather. So let's move on. I'm sure she'll figure it out because it is very simple. So that's hot seat concept. On and off the record. At the moment we're on the record. I explained that a little earlier. What that means is that this is being recorded so that those who can't watch it live can watch a recording afterwards, which is quite useful. And yeah, the user interface is very simple. But as I've explained, that does mean that there are limitations, such as the number of people we can have on here. And what I'd like to do for those people who may watch these in the future regularly, I'd like them to help us by helping people in the comments. So if somebody new joins, Josephine's back in now. She's going to come back in a sec. So if someone's watching it, if one of the viewers is watching and types a comment and they need help, perhaps other viewers can help them by answering their questions in the comment section. I'd like to encourage that sense of community if that's at all possible. Hey, Josephine, you're back.
Yeah, I moved.
Well done. Yeah, it was quite easy, wasn't it? We've lost Dave. He'll come back as well. I know he's got a poor broadband signal. And like I said earlier, we can't control who watches this. Literally anyone from anywhere in the world will be able to watch it. And actually, that's quite a nice idea, I think, because it will mean that, if there are someone in America does something, if their council or local authority does something in a certain way, perhaps we could learn from them. So it's not a bad thing. So that's that. And now to this sort of initial idea behind the concept, and this is where I want your input really. And it's nice we've got like the Hawkins in stereo here.
Around the 4-person limitation.
Yeah, absolutely. So the initial idea behind this is quite simple. I want local councillors and politicians to be more visible and get, surgeries, traditional surgeries. I don't have time to do them. I don't have time to do a surgery in our local village hall for nobody to turn up. Right. And that's because, a lot of people these days are busy professionals and they just don't have time to go to these things, but they might be able to spare 5 minutes to ask a question on something like this. And you can see we've got 12 people watching this live now, and 38 people have sort of dipped in and out. So, it just goes to show you with very little effort, we've extended our reach. And
sorry,
yeah, go ahead.
What were the hands on the right for? I didn't hear what you said because I'm internet.
Oh, yeah. So what that means, Joseph, it's a bit like on Facebook. You know how you have a like? What that means is if somebody likes what you're saying, they can give it. It's called giving props.
Oh.
And it's the same as a like, and you're getting lots of them now. And I think that might be because you're better looking. You're better looking than the rest of us.
I wasn't sure.
And I reckon if Edward disappears off the screen, you'll get even more.
Yeah, exactly.
I've only got one. I thought it was something close.
More came because I was here actually.
Excellent. So I want us to be able to be more visible and make it easy for residents to connect with us. Okay. And also it's obviously a live Q&A format, so people can ask questions live if they want to, or if they can't watch it live, they can send us questions in advance. We keeping you awake, Dave?
You are actually.
I know you're an early riser. That's that, councillors. So the idea is, hopefully, if other councillors see that we're doing this, so we're the kind of early adopters, and if other councillors, like Edward, who's watching from the sidelines here, thinks, actually, this is a really good idea, and actually it's not that nerve-wracking, I quite fancy a go at this, Then there's no reason why other councillors can't take part and sit in the sidelines.
Yeah, totally.
And then if
agree.
a question asked that's relevant to them, we can bring them in, or even at the beginning, whoever's in the sidelines, because of the hot seat concept, we can introduce everybody who's in the sidelines and just bring people in.
Bring them in. Yeah, bring them in as they need to.
On something than others, so it makes sense.
No, both Josephine and I are
absolutely
very keen on this sort of thing.
Of course not, and it's not for everyone. It's not.
I would say one of the things you want to do technically is you and I are both on a set of headphones. I think you want to insist that everyone is speaking with a set of headphones, because then you have a mic this close. Because Josephine sounds like Josephine, you sound like you're in a well.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't insist on anything, to be honest, Dave.
Let's sit here. Have you got some earphones? I've got some pink ones in there. Have you got earphones?
I don't need pink earphones.
Anyway, don't worry about that for right now. Maybe for the future ones.
Oliver, say something when you're plugged in.
But I need
Oliver, you plugged in?
Oliver, can you hear us?
Got my phone. Oh, well.
Oliver, you plugged in?
Okay.
God.
I didn't really want to do this now, Dave, to be honest.
Yo, I thought this was a brainstorm.
Anyway.
Make sure we get everything right technically.
It's not a sound check, though. It's a brainstorm. Anyway, but yeah, in the future, there's no reason why, we should say to people, try to wear headphones wherever possible.
Yeah.
Because it will improve the audio quality.
It really improves the quality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I'm going to avoid that for now.
No, they're not.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. So the idea is residents can ask questions using the comments feature or submit questions in advance. Now, there is a nippy little feature which I'm going to show you now. Right? Because when lots of people are putting comments in, it's actually difficult to decipher what's a question and what's a comment, right? But if you type out /Q space and then your question, look what it does in the comments there. It puts a question in front of it. Puts a question tag in front of it.
And what do you do?
Okay.
And what I want to try and encourage, so at the beginning of each one, I would say to the audience, okay, if you want to ask a question, try to remember to use that question tag, because it will make it easy for the co-host or the wingman to decipher.
Is there any way of keeping that message sort of on the screen so that new viewers can see it as soon as they join in? So someone joining now would...
Yeah, Paul, can you
that.
Put that up anywhere, like in front of yourself or whoever's the moderator? Can you put a message on the screen?
While you're talking.
Yeah.
I can put a message on the screen, not across the main screen, but in the comments. But yeah, that's a possibility. And maybe I could do, when I advertise these on the Residents Network, maybe I could type out some guidelines underneath it.
That'd be useful.
So people are hitting the ground running, so to speak. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah,
but like I said earlier,
because this is so new, hardly anybody knows what to do anyway. So, I think if we just tell them, after one or two times, they'll get with it.
Yeah, of course. And that's what I was trying to say earlier, is that I'm hoping the audience will help other audience members. So if a new audience member types a comment and says, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? I'm hoping the audience will answer those questions as well.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So, and we talked about, you brought this up earlier, Dave, about disruptors.
Yeah.
We've already covered that, but they won't be tolerated. It's as simple as that. I'm not giving up my free time to listen to people ranting.
No, I mean, I don't care how hard the question is that somebody wants to ask, because there are hard questions and we deserve to answer them. But if somebody's just going to, rant down about something, then just cut them off.
Well, like I said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And the normal rules of decency apply. Just because I'm a politician doesn't mean to say you can talk to me how you like. It's that simple. So, have you got any ideas on it? So that was it, really. That's all I was going to say, just to introduce this whole concept.
Okay.
Have you got any thoughts? You got any thoughts on it?
No, except I got to go.
No? Josephine?
I think it's a good idea having an open question time. But, I mean, if there was an idea in advance, and if people could message or put it on Twitter, contact any of us, really, an idea with questions. You know, maybe we could do, apart from the open question type of thing, but maybe to have a, you know, me and my themes, you know, to have, you know, perhaps, I don't know how often we're planning on having this, once a month or something, you know, so have an open session, but also to have something, you know, do we want to talk about parking, or do we want to talk about, you know, people problem with trees, or, you know, how, if you've got planning issues, what to do, you know, obviously, any particular problems, but to have anything about question time, but also general stuff, but, you know, so that we can major on one topic.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. And we could say, look, you know, we could, when we advertise it in advance, maybe say, well, you know, this is going to be the main item under discussion. We'll also take other questions, but this will be the main.
I think it'd be a good idea.
Yeah, we could do that.
That way, at least you've got some structure to it. Otherwise, you could be here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, no, we can do that. That sounds okay. The only thing is, though, is that we need to make it clear to residents that we don't always have all the answers.
Well, no, of course not.
But what we'll do is, if somebody asks us a question that we don't have the answer, we'll endeavour to get that answer for them and email them when it's finished or whatever. And I think residents need to understand that we're not always going to have the answers.
The more likely they are to get an answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Oliver, did you want to say something?
Just on the whole structure thing, because I'm noticing a lot of comments are being on the column on the right. And I think actually it's very important that someone actually records them so that everyone who does write something on that column gets addressed. So all the points are being made, you know, saying about pigs and, you know, having more than one person on the camera. You know, each person who takes the time to write that deserves to have an answer. So
absolutely. And that is why one reason why I said earlier, I want us to have a wingman or a co-host to make sure that they get read out. But we can go through those. In fact, I'll make a point of going through those before.
Did you have a very good question just then? Are we going to have councillors from the different parties? You know, that's all.
Well, actually, that's a good question, and I don't think we will. To be honest with you, if other councillors from other parties want to hold their own Surrey, then they can. I'm not going to stop them. But no, you know, under normal circumstances, if you held a surgery, it would be your particular party normally, as far as I'm aware, anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
But there's no. Why not have all parties? Ben has said.
Let them have their own party.
I'm not going to stop them if they want to do it, or if they want to come in and ask a question. That's entirely up to them.
Yeah, this is
entirely up to them.
Are you going to have the sessions time limited?
I think that I'd like to keep it on the record bit to keep it to about an hour if possible.
That's
definitely.
What I'll always do is
definitely not more than that.
Yeah, but what I will do is I'll always have what I'll call the after show, which is, you know, it'll go off the record.
Like on BBC Two.
Yeah, exactly. So you can have the after show, and if people want to sort of just have an informal chat afterwards and even jump in, then they can do. Yeah. It is for the community, Ben, and if the community wants to come in, they can. If they don't want to, they don't have to.
Yeah,
I ain't forcing anybody.
No.
And like I say, if other councillors from other parties want to do this, they're more than welcome to. This platform is available to everybody.
Yeah. Are we going to stick to a particular day of the week? Though it is difficult, isn't it, with council meetings?
It's difficult. It's difficult because we all serve on various committees at different time, at different nights of the week. That might make it difficult, and I think that we've just got to understand that sometimes we'll be able to make it, and other times we won't.
Actually, I really like the point made by Pickle Dan, which is, you know, can we have ward-related evenings? So, you know, for an evening, might have, say, Frimley Green, on my case, you know, or we can actually have a situation where we can think about ways of making sure residents are aware well in advance that, you know, if you want to raise your concerns about your local area, you know, on this night you will have your councillors online.
We could do that.
That's a good idea, Oliver, particularly because we could combine Frimley and Frimley Green, because a lot of the issues on one are the same as the other. Yeah. You know, they link together really well, and we could get a lot of residents
I think
chiming in on those things.
Because I don't think there'd be enough, you know, unless it was a major issue.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you know what the idea that Josephine said earlier about you know, like having a theme, a topic or whatever. Maybe we could merge that idea and Oliver's idea. You know, so that it's ward related rather than a specific issue related. Perhaps. Are you going, Dave?
Go.
Looks like Dave's
I'm
going.
See you guys.
Bye.
Okay, bye, fella. Bye, Dan. If you're still around and you want to hop on, jump in. But yeah, I mean, I think that what we ought to do, maybe, with your agreement, is suck it and see, and just see how this thing develops.
Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's got real potential. This, and so also, if you have a resident who wanted to raise a question, actually do it, you know, on the camera, so they could write a comment in here and say, "Can I go on?"
Well, there will be that opportunity. I'm happy to do that. In fact, we may even maybe open up. What do you think about opening up maybe the last 5 minutes? So if there are residents who actually want to come on, take a seat and ask a question directly, we can let them do that.
I'm not sure if I might get a bit.
I don't mind that at all.
As long as they don't
you
abuse
guys
it,
don't.
like if they just come in and just start using the opportunity, as we said before, to rant, then obviously they lose.
Well, I can boot them out.
Yeah, you can moderate it all, can't you?
Yeah, if it's somebody comes on the camera and starts ranting, I can just boot them out. You know, and I will do that and actually take quite a lot of pleasure in doing it, to be honest with you. But there you go.
And if it happens so frequently, then just kibosh that idea altogether.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to say it's a format that I think will develop. It's never been done before. With politicians, that is. So and residents actually ask questions. I've never seen that done before. So we'll just have to see how it is. Don't close any doors on it to interaction.
Very good point.
I don't know if it's Barry or Claire, one or the other. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. We want to encourage that, but I think we've just got to make sure that we're not offending anyone by someone coming on, start ranting and raving and swearing, effing and jeffing and all that sort of stuff. We've just got to be mindful that this platform is for everybody. What does that say there? Paul and his Graham Norton chair lever for booting people out. Yeah. I'll tell you, I'll be kicking out more than anyone. Is that Dave Allen? But anyway. Well, yeah. So
windows to be. I don't know if you have enough or the capability for enough windows to start inviting people to, to comment. Though it is quite difficult to read it at the same time. I think it's a good idea to have someone reading the comments at the side.
Well, as that Dan, yeah, you're absolutely right, Josephine. And as that Dan is already familiar with this platform, I'll probably invite Dan to be my wingman when we actually do this proper. Not now, because this is just we're just talking about the concept. But when we actually do a real one, Dan, if you don't object, you could be the wingman and just read the questions out.
Yeah.
So what's that? Someone's put, what about a hot topic agenda to shape the start of the meetings? Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We could run a little straw poll between councillors and say, right, what's the hot issue this week or this month? What's the biggest complaint that we're getting from residents? Is it potholes? Is it, although that's not our responsibility, but is it the bridge at Deep Cut Bridge Road, the traffic lights proposed for Frimley Green, the Deep Cut development, dog fouling, whatever it may be?
Stand the phone and need it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good idea. The question is, how do you make sure as many residents as possible know the URL to click on, but also perhaps when you send them the URL, also as a way of them saying, I think this should be the top issue, a way of voting, so that.
Do you mean how do they find out to fund the broadcast?
Yeah.
I mean, well, we're in quite a fortunate position, Oliver, because we've got the residents network and we're all active on social media.
Yeah.
All the people you see in here, with the exception of a couple, all the people that have been here are all local residents. I put this on a couple of local Facebook groups earlier on today. To be fair, I only did it on the Heatherside and Parkside Facebook groups because I know they're really engaged communities on Facebook. And, I can see here we've got 2, 3, 4 residents from Heatherside actually watching this right now.
Good.
So
it will just grow over time as word spreads.
Yeah.
Same as any new format of anything,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I will put a press release out as well when we do the first real one, not the pilot. So the next one that we're going to do is going to be a pilot. Okay. And we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. Then after that, we will do a first one for real. So we'll learn from what happened in the pilot, see if there's anything we can do to refine it, and then we'll do a proper one. And when we do a proper one, I'll put a press release out.
Real.
Okay.
I mean, I did this with the Police Crime Commissioner, by the way, on Thursday, and it went really well. We had loads of people watching it live. We've had loads of people replay it, and watch the recording afterwards. I'm certain this is going to be a winning format. We've just got to make sure that we,
fine-tune again.
Understand. Yeah, because we don't know what's going to crop up. We don't know what questions people are going to ask. We don't know what curveballs are going to be thrown, and I think the pilot will allow us to sort of get a grasp of, so that we can hit the ground running on the first one. Let me just read these comments out. Hello from Heatherside. As a resident, I can see this as being very useful. Thanks for that. That's Chris, I think, that made that comment. And you also need to ensure that you get different councillors on, and with all due respect, not the same faces each time. That's easier said than done, Barry. I think that's Barry. The thing is, Barry, like real surgeries, we can't force councillors to do them. Okay? They're elected members, and there's nothing in the constitution of our council that says that members have to do surgeries or take part in things like this. It's entirely up to them, and we can't force them. I would like to see as many councillors as possible taking part in this, but if they don't want to or they're not comfortable doing it, we can't force them, and we shouldn't put them under pressure to do it either.
I mean, we definitely get more coming in. I can think of 2 or 3 straight off the top of my head who I know will be up for this.
Really? Like who? Maxwell,
Maxwell, my dad will. Yeah,
your dad will, yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, actually, that Oliver's dad isn't... Josephine Hawkins and Edward Hawkins are not the only family team. We've also got Oliver's dad, who's also a councillor, and he represents, if I remember right... Watchett's ward. That's right. Yeah. Let me just see what that says. Yeah. Okay. It's the same comment. Yeah. So no offence, but we can't force councillors to take part in these things. But what I reckon will happen as this thing builds momentum and they see how useful it is, and also, will actually help them raise their profile in the community. I think that we will see other ones. We did have Katia Malkhouse-Cooper, Councillor Katia Malkhouse-Cooper from Bagshot Ward, who was going to join us tonight, but she has 2 young children and she couldn't get them. I think she was struggling to get them to bed, and she didn't want to have the kids in the background and all the rest of it. So she decided to bow out at the last minute. That's another thing that residents need to understand, is that we're not full-time professional politicians like our MP. We do this in our spare time, and we have families and jobs, and it's not always possible to take part in these things. So if residents can be mindful of that, that would be very helpful.
And of course, you were saying about someone was saying about different people coming on board. I mean, it's the same as Facebook and Twitter, all social media. If people don't want to do it, then you can't force them to do it. It's for the individuals to want to do it, really. Could
I just make a point? You're absolutely right there, Josephine. You're bang on, actually, because if you think about it, now you're in your 3rd term, aren't you?
Yeah,
Josephine.
Like
you're in your 3rd, 4th.
Almost.
You're in your 3rd 4-year term. I'm in my 2nd.
Stop it.
I'm not doing anything. Sitting there quietly.
I'm in my 2nd term.
Right.
And Dan and Oliver are both in their 1st terms. Now, when I was first elected in 2011, there was only myself and maybe 2 or 3 other councillors who were on social media, and there was really only me and Dave Allen who were using it in any kind of meaningful way. Oh, no, that's not true, actually. Tim Dodds was as well.
Oh, yes.
Tim Dodds using it. Not always the most interesting follow, but he was using it in a meaningful way. And that's only my opinion, of course. Being a politician, I've got to express an opinion. But if you look at it now, like you, for instance, Josephine, you use it prolifically. You're very active on Facebook. You're less active on Twitter, but you still use it. Edward is active on Facebook, And he really only got on it. He's probably only been using it for less than a year, I would say. Certainly politically. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, he was probably a little reluctant to start, but I think that was
to start with. But he's starting to see the benefit. And the thing is it is a big, scary world, social media. I do this for a living. Social media is my profession, so it's easy for me.
Yeah.
But it's not so easy for other people. And we've got to let them, let elected members do it in their own time. If we force them into doing it or pressure them into doing it, they're doing it reluctantly, and therefore they're doing it meaningfully.
It's a great way to communicate, though. Facebook, really, yeah.
Definitely.
Oh God, yeah. Here he's back again. Yeah. Go on then, Edward.
You've really got to show people the merit of it rather than force. It's not a reluctance. People need it to be sold to them.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. And the other thing is that if you're not familiar with, if you're not someone who is IT literate, and some of our members are not, they've got to be supported as well, haven't they?
Give them help when they need it.
Yeah. So has anyone else got any other ideas before I open up questions from members of the public?
I think so. Oh, we've got a question already in the column.
Right. Okay. So I see at the top of the comments, you can filter by mentions and questions. That's right. Would that make it easier for you to see just the questions? It would be, but you've got to, people have got to, so for it to appear in just the questions, to be filtered out in just the questions, they've got to use that question tag that I showed you earlier. And some people, especially if they're new to the platform, might not remember to do that. But yeah, it would be useful at the beginning of everyone to say, if you've got a question, can you try to remember the question tag?
I don't think it's an idea doing a specific question to a councillor, but I think we all have different views and different knowledge of a specific thing. So if somebody said something about trees or something at a roundabout, and you said it in a ward or to the councillor you thought was relevant to that, but there may be an adjoining ward where there are issues going on, and that councillor may have more information. An update more than what we would know. So I think if it's general across the board for everyone, then people can chip in and give their experiences.
Yeah,
that's a fair point. And the other thing is as well, going back to what the other person asked about, are we going to let other parties in? You know something, in my experience, more often than not, Conservative councillors, their views differ massively. Sometimes we might as well be opposition members because we do disagree on things. And that's democracy for you, isn't it? You're allowed to disagree with each other.
Oh, we're all individuals.
Yeah. You take Edward's committee, for instance. Quite often the votes sway lots of different ways, don't they, Edward? Yes. Excellent. So I'll tell you what I'll do. So unless any of you guys have got any other questions or comments, I'll just quickly open it up to the floor and then we'll end this thing. Right. So if there's anyone watching, if you've got a comment, type it out now. Otherwise, I'm going to end it. No, great, fantastic. So I'm going to go off the record now. But it will still be there, so I'll just stop the recording. So thank you everybody for joining us.
Thank you.